Hello, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Kat. I'm a wife, a homeschool mom, and an avid reader. For everyone else, welcome back. It is time to do a December 2023 wrap up. And I thought I would start with some of my stats. During the month of December, I read 16, well, I started 16 books. Um, and that included one DNF. Um, but of those 16 books, I read a total of 4,396 pages. Um, and so I had an awesome reading month. A few kind of things with this is all of them were fiction. Over half of them were under 300 pages, which kind of surprises me. I thought more of them were between just over 300 pages, but 40% were between 300 and 500 pages. Just one book was over 500 pages, and I will talk about that one in a few minutes. Most of what I read were romances or contemporaries. And a lot of that just had to do with what I was wanting to read for December, and that was to read a lot of Christmas books or books dealing with Christmas, which meant a lot of contemporary and romance. A few books I counted as other. One was a classic, and that was A Christmas Carol. And then I read a collection of letters, which was really fun for me. I read Tolkien, J.R.R. Tolkien's letters that he wrote on behalf of Father Christmas to his children. And included in that were letters that the kids wrote to Father Christmas in there. For my reading, almost all that I read was digital or audio, just because that's how I could easily get my hands on the books. I did not really stick with my goal at the beginning of the year of giving things star ratings just because they feel so subjective. So for my story graph, I did not include any of those in there. But mostly what I read was lighthearted or emotional, which is kind of funny to see that divide. So up next, let's talk through a few of the titles that I really enjoyed during the month of December. One book that I really enjoyed during December was The Christmas Fix by Lucy Score. In this one, we have Noah Yates, who is the town manager, and we have Catalina King, who is an HGTV rebuilder. She takes or goes into certain neighborhoods and helps out to rebuild houses for people who need help kind of getting back on their feet. She had been in this town in Connecticut. And the first time she was there, she was helping out a family who the husband got injured, or he either got injured or he got sick. I can't remember exactly there. But he was unable to work or pay the medical bills that were involved. He lost his job because he wasn't working. Um, and it wasn't a work injury. So a lot kind of going on there. And so she helped out in this town um, like a year before. Then a hurricane comes in and just floods the town. So she decides she's going to go back and she's going to help this town to be able to do what they do every year, and that's to put on this huge Christmas spectacular. It's their big event that brings in tourism, that brings in money to the town, and so she wants to help the town. But the city manager, Noah, he doesn't like her. He feels that, or he doesn't like what she does. He feels that she's doing it just to get attention for herself or to do these kind of pity parties on these towns or people who need help. So this one was a lot of fun, a lot of humor in it, along with um, some of these harder topics to handle. You have people losing um, everything that they have and trying to continue on with life. Um, so, lots of fun to read. And just like with most romances, and especially at least what I found with Christmas romances, that happily ever after that we're looking for, definitely in this one. So, lots of fun. The Christmas Fix by Lucy Score. Another book that I really enjoyed reading during December, I actually read on my Kindle. And that was Christmas at the Cat Cafe. In this one, we have a young woman who has fibromyalgia and she is trying to open this cat cafe um, with the inheritance money that her grandmother left to her. She has this big dream, but doesn't quite know how to take that dream and make it a reality with her physical limitations. Um, this one I laughed and I cried several times in, and really had a lot of fun with it. One thing that I really liked with it is how well it kind of shows what life with fibromyalgia is like. As a person who deals with fibromyalgia myself, it was nice to be able to see myself on the page and remember kind of that doesn't have to be the end just because what you just because your body is limiting you on things. You can still dream big and have a full life, just maybe a little slower than some others. Another book that I had a great time with in December wasn't really a Christmas book. Um, it just takes, or part of the book takes place in the month of December, and that is One Day in December by Josie Silver. This one I had a lot of fun with. It was kind of neat to see that we have three kind of main characters in the book. The first one we have is Lori, and Lori happens to be on the bus headed home from work, and she sees this guy out the window at the bus stop. And it turns out being kind of a missed opportunity. She feels this big prompting to get off the bus, and doesn't. Um, and so it continues. She's got her best friend, Sarah, who she lives with, their roommates. And Sarah's, trying to help her find this guy for the whole next year. And when Lori gives up, Sarah finds this guy named Jack, and she and Jack have this connection together, and they start dating. And when Sarah meets, or I'm sorry, when Lori meets Sarah's new boyfriend, it turns out that Jack is the guy she saw out the window. And so the rest of the book is this kind of, how do the three of them meld together and continue life together despite having some of these hiccups, and how do they continue going forward and still build, still have each of their dreams come true. So lots of fun. I had a great time with this. There are some kind of trigger warnings, so be careful if there are certain things that you don't do well with. But so, check out on that one some of those things. There's not really a trigger warning in the front that I saw, or even at the end, but I had a good time with this and glad that I read it. And the final book that I'm going to talk about from reading in December is actually not a Christmas book at all. Every year, my younger sister and I exchange a book on Christmas Eve, in that book flood. Yabo, yeah, I'm not even going to try. The Icelandic tradition of exchanging a book on Christmas Eve. With this one, um, this year, she got me House of Roots and Ruin by Aaron A. Craig. This is the second novel in a series, the first one being House of Salt and Sorrow. House of Salt and Sorrow kind of follows the Russian tale of the 12 sisters, 12 swans, something like that. It's kind of like a fairy tale retelling. This one, I don't know if it's a fairy tale retelling so much as it's just continuing the life of the youngest. So in the um, first book, we're following one of the siblings. In this last book, we are following the youngest sibling, Verity, and she, being tired of her oldest sister protecting her, she goes off on her own. Really beautiful story. Had a lot of fun with it. A lot more fun than I expected to have based on my feelings at the end of House of Salt and Sorrows. While I enjoyed House of Salt and Sorrows, it was definitely not a 5-star for me. But this one was indeed a 5-star for me, and I had a great time. And just look at that cover. Very gorgeous book and a lot of fun to read. All right, guys, so the last thing I have is showing my genre blanket progress. And right here, after all this green, you can see how much contemporary and romance I really read. Um, Lots of it. With a couple kind of thrown in there too. It's kind of interesting to look back over the year um, and see how um, dark my year started compared to how light the yarn finished. But I've had a great time making this blanket, and it is a lovely size to cuddle up under. The only thing I do have left, and I will share this, or I will share it completed with my 2023 in review, is the border. I am going to add a border this year. I just haven't quite decided what color I'm going to do because I have so many colors in the blanket. Um, I'm kind of going back and forth. Do I do a neutral, like a brown, or do I make it fun and um, do like a favorite color of the yarn that I have that would be enough without buying more to go around? So you'll just have to keep an eye out for my 2023 in review to know what I pick. But that's all I've got this time. I hope that you had an awesome December reading month like I did, and that your reading year went well for you. I will see you guys next time. Bye.